Shabbat curled and drives and scores!
And the Senators win it.
Five apart, another chance, Matheson can score! Green Matheson, and got it! Green again, scores!
Welcome to Sens Talk. My name is Brandon, and I'm your host. Now, before we get started, please follow us on Twitter at SensTalk_, and on Instagram at SensTalk as well. Go to SeatGeek.com and use the promo code SensTalk. You'll save $20 off your first purchase. Make sure to take advantage of that great deal today. Now, yesterday we uploaded our Senator forward season preview video. Link in the description below. Make sure to check that out if you have not already. But today, let's discuss the defenseman on your Ottawa Senators for the 2021-2022 season. Just a heads up, by the way, tomorrow on Wednesday, we'll be uploading our Senator goalie season preview, so stay tuned for that tomorrow. And on Friday, we'll have our Senator versus Toronto Maple Leaf game number 1 recap video out for you as we discuss the first game of the season. That will be out Friday. In today's video, I'm going to project my 3 starting pairings for your Ottawa Senators defense this season. These projections are based off of current camp and preseason pairings that we've seen so far, and as well, what I personally think would be best for each defenseman going into the season. So let's start it off with the first pairing, Tom Chabot and Artem Zub. Tom Chabot last season had 31 points in 49 games played last year, while Artem Zub had 14 points in 47 games played. This pairing will allow Tom Chabot to take more offensive risks. With Zub staying back at the point, Chabot will be able to pinch more into the offensive zone and potentially create plays from that left hash mark side of the ice. Chabot is such a smooth skater, and I'm looking forward to seeing how he plays with a much longer leash. Chabot is obviously our power play quarterback, and I'm looking to see how he and our power play performs this year, because last year our power play, let's just say, was not the best in the National Hockey League. Zub, on the other hand, was dominant last year defensively and has very good poise with his defensive zone exits. He's also incredibly effective in pushing offensive threats to the outside boards with his great defensive positioning. He's also an ace in our back pocket if we ever go to the shootout, because for some bizarre reason, Artem Zub has some of the nastiest hands on this team by far. Zub is easily Ottawa's best defensive defenseman and definitely a fan favorite. I really look forward to seeing Artem Zub live in person this year as we can finally go back to games. This guy's just an absolute beauty. It's funny how this guy came out of nowhere last year, sort of a mystery going into last season, and now he's probably one of the most loved players on this Senators team. It's pretty fun to see, and if you follow him on Instagram, he's very active there too, so hopefully we see much more content from Artem Zub this year. Now, what this pairing does for Ottawa, it has a good blend of offense and defense. This first pairing should garner the most ice time by far during every single game for the Ottawa Senators, and I think they're going to eat up a lot of valuable minutes for the Senators. They're going to help out the bottom pairings, as well contributing offensively. So I think this first pairing is fantastic, and there's really no better pairing that Ottawa can have going into the season. For my second pairing, I have Victor Mete with Nikita Zaitsev. Last year, Victor Mete had 5 points in 28 games played between Ottawa and Montreal, while Nikita Zaitsev had 17 points in 55 games played. Victor Mete is a tremendous skater. His acceleration after his first step allows him to speed past opponents while pushing the play back into the team's offensive zone if there's an offensive threat in the defensive zone, thanks to his passing abilities. When Mete joined Ottawa last year after being claimed off waivers from Montreal, the Sens offense instantly looked better, and this is no surprise, thanks to Victor Mete's great neutral zone transition game and, more importantly, his speed. Mete is a kid that I think can truly blossom and break out as a top 4 defenseman this year. So keep an eye on how this kid develops and continues to play throughout this season in every single game. Now, Zaitsev, on the other hand, is quietly last year had one of his better seasons in the National Hockey League and is the defensive element of this pairing. He has a decent shot from the point as he chipped in 4 goals last year, but he isn't the most flashy defenseman. But on most nights, he gets the job done. That cap hit is a little too high, though, but for the current moment in time, it's just okay as we're barely able to reach the cap floor as is. Now, this pairing is intriguing for me, as Victor Mete has never truly played a full season in the National Hockey League in a top 4 position. So I'm interested to see how Victor Mete fares against some of the National Hockey League's toughest competition on a nightly basis in the Atlantic Division. If Zaitsev can continue his above-average defensive play, this pairing should be solid on most nights, especially since Victor Mete provides an offensive ability to the pairing as well. Now the third pairing, I have Nick Holden alongside Erik Brannstrom. Last year in 17 games played, Nick Holden had 2 points, while Erik Brannstrom in 30 games played in the National Hockey League had 13 points. Acquired in the Evgeny Dadonov deal this offseason with Vegas, Nick Holden is a solid defensive defenseman who can eat up penalty kill minutes. He's not flashy, but he gets the job done. He's been in the league for quite some time, so he'll have the ability to mentor Brannstrom and as well provide valuable advice for the young defenseman. Now, speaking of the young defenseman, this is a big year for Erik Brannstrom, the centerpiece of that Mark Stone deal with Vegas a few years back. While Brannstrom is known for his offensive abilities, Brannstrom's defensive abilities in the past have held him back, but he's certainly taken a step forward going into this year in that department. During the preseason, Brannstrom in Ottawa's defensive zone looked much more composed and patient with the puck, often utilizing a mix of his great skating abilities and stick work to thwart offensive attacks. Brannstrom will definitely be battling with Mete for ice time in Ottawa's second power play unit, and he may as well steal Mete's spot on that second pairing at some point this season as well. This pairing is similar to the second pairing I mentioned earlier in today's video, as it has offensive and defensive abilities. I really look forward to seeing what Brannstrom can do during a full National Hockey League season, especially with much more confidence going into this season. If it's similar to what we saw during the preseason with Brannstrom, we're in for a big year from the franchise. Now that I've given my top 6 for the Ottawa Senators going into the regular season, here's who's scratched. Let's start it off with Josh Brown. Josh Brown quietly had a fantastic preseason. However, I think he fails to make the top 6 due to better overall options for the 3 pairings. I can certainly see Josh Brown drawing into a lot of games this year, as the Senators certainly love his aggressiveness and physicality. He's my 7th defenseman going into the season, and expect to see Josh Brown for a good portion of the team's games if Ottawa experiences injuries or sickness or whatever in their blue line. He's definitely the next man up if one of those 6 goes down. Now, Michael Del Zotto signed here this offseason on a 2-year deal, but I'm a little confused on why Ottawa locked him up for 2 years when he's your prototypical depth defenseman and Jake Sanderson should be here after the season. Regardless, Del Zotto during the preseason was often caught out of position and looked a little slower than some of the other defensemen on this list. He's a fine defenseman to slot in for some games if an injury occurs or whatever, but that's the extent I would use him. Ottawa, for some reason during the preseason, was putting MDZ on the power play. Listen, no disrespect to Michael Del Zotto, I'm sure he's a great guy, but he's not a power play quarterback, all right? He's not a guy on the blue line that should be manning the point on the power play, let alone even be starting. So I was a little confused by that, but hopefully that was just a preseason thing, and hopefully on that second wave of the power play, we get to see Victor Mete and or Erik Brannstrom. Once again, no disrespect to Michael Del Zotto, it's just there's just better options for Ottawa's top 6 rather than him. Now, the potential call-ups going into the season for Ottawa on the defensive side of things. Lassie Thompson, the former first-round pick, impressed during the preseason. I wouldn't be shocked if he got a few games in this year to get a taste of the National Hockey League. Maxime Gounet, 7th-round pick from a couple of years back, had a fantastic season a year or two ago in the QMJHL. He should have, I don't know if he'll get much time in the NHL this year, to be honest. I think he's gonna have to stay in the AHL this year to get a lot more development, but I think he's a bright future. But Ottawa doesn't really have a lot of NHL defensemen on contract in the AHL right now, so he's definitely a potential call-up. And then Dylan Hetherington as well has some NHL experience. Not the best defenseman, but once again, if you need a guy to fill a game or two, he's your guy. Thank you all for watching today's video. Make sure to comment below right now. Let me know what you think. Who are your defensive pairings going into the season for the Ottawa Senators? Comment them down below. I look forward to reading and responding to all those comments down below. Besides that, thank you all for watching. I appreciate the support. Remember, tomorrow we'll be uploading our Senator goalie season preview as we discuss the tandem of Matt Murray and Anton Forsberg and whether or not Philip Gustafsson will get an opportunity in the National Hockey League this season. Besides that, thank you all for watching. Make sure to like this video, share this video with your cool stuff, and click the big red button down there, make it gray, and subscribe to us. And most importantly of all, turn the notification bell on so you get notified whenever we upload a new video. Besides that, thank you all for watching. I'll see you tomorrow. Go Sens, go.